Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. While Ireland and many around the globe today green up for St. Patrick's Day celebrations, we have a greening of our own to embark upon today. For we are fortunate to have with us four phenomenal presenters from the University of Michigan, Drs. Don Scavia, Jim Diana, John Austin, and Alan Burton, who will talk about jobs, science, and the value that they will bring ultimately to our economy. Now, here to formally introduce our speakers is the Honorable Dan Scripps, State Representative of beautiful Leland, Michigan. Now, he represents 4 counties along Lake Michigan. What could be finer? Talk about a district to represent. Rep. Scripps is an alum of the University of Michigan Law School, I believe, and serves as Associate Speaker Pro Tem of the Michigan House of Representatives. And just as importantly for us here today, he serves on the House Great Lakes and Environment Committee. All right. So we can say go green and go blue today, right? Please join me in welcoming Representative Dan Scripps.
Thank you, and please don't let the clothes fool you. It might be green and white on the outside, but it's maize and blue on the inside. I do have the privilege of introducing our fine 4 panelists today, and of representing the 101st District, which I can tell you never ever gets old. It's a long drive, 2.5 hours from top to bottom, but one that I always love making, and seeing Lake Michigan peek out from a number of different places sort of reminds me why it's so great to live in Michigan. Our panelists today, I think that we've got just a great cross-section of experts in terms of how we can build the blue economy in Michigan and how our Great Lakes are central to both our quality of life and our economic prosperity in the future. Dr. Don Scavia is going to serve as the moderator today, and he's the U of M Graham Family Professor of Environmental Sustainability, the Special Counsel to the University of Michigan President on Sustainability, Professor of Natural Resources and Environment, Professor of Civil and Environmental Engineering, and Director of the Graham Environmental Sustainability Institute. He was the Director of the Michigan Sea Grant from 2004 to 2009, SNRE Associate Dean for Research from 2004 to 2006, and Director of the Co-operative Institute for Limnology and Ecosystems Research from 2004 to 2007. Dr. Scavia holds bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees in environmental engineering from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute and the University of Michigan. And it's great to have you here. I'm glad that you're going to be moderating this panel. Dr. Jim Diana is the director of the Michigan Sea Grant, and he was appointed to that position in March 2009. He's involved in leading the statewide program in its research, education, and outreach efforts on critical Great Lakes issues such as sustainable coastal development, fisheries, and other issues. He's also a professor in the School of Natural Resources and Environment at the University of Michigan. He currently teaches a senior course on fish ecology and an introductory course in environmental sciences. Dr. Diana is the 2006 recipient of the Michigan chapter of the American Fisheries Society's Justin W. Leonard Award for Excellence for his contributions to fisheries education, research, and management in Michigan. And while a number of us are wearing shamrocks today, he has a fish on his lapel, and I think that's just fantastic. So welcome, Dr. Diana. John Austin is an old friend, I'm not mic'd. I should talk louder. He's a non-resident senior fellow and directs the Great Lakes Economic Initiative for the Brookings Institution. It's designed to improve the economic vitality of the Great Lakes states. John is also a resident scholar at the University of Michigan Institute for Research on Labor, Employment, and the Economy. He has authored key Brookings reports that have directly shaped the region's economic development agenda: the Vital Center, a federal-state compact to renew the Great Lakes region; the Vital Connection, reclaiming Great Lakes economic leadership in the binational Great Lakes region; and Healthy Waters, Strong Economy. John's also the vice president of the Michigan Board of Education, and I think his probably best career move was giving me my first job out of college. So John, thanks for being here, and it's always good to see you again. And finally, Dr. Alan Burton is the newly appointed director of NOAA's Co-operative Institute of Limnology and Ecosystem Research and a professor in the School of Natural Resources and Environment at the University of Michigan. Recently, he was professor and chair of the Earth and Environmental Sciences Department at Wright State University in Dayton, Ohio. While at Wright State, Dr. Burton directed the Institute for Environmental Quality, started the PhD program in environmental sciences, and in his spare time was the Brage Golding Distinguished Professor of Research. His research on aquatic ecosystem stressors has taken him to all 7 continents and visiting scientist positions in New Zealand, Italy, and Portugal, and he's here with us today. So without further ado, I'll bring Dr. Scavia up to kick things off, and thank you for being here.
You know, there are a lot of folks that are like to think of creating for the University of Michigan the Scripps for the Great Lakes, and so I think I know where we might want to have that. Thank you for the great introductions of our group. We're gonna start with John Austin, who's going to talk about sort of the large picture and the role of Michigan and the Great Lakes in the economy of the United States and sort of working as a vital center. And then from that point, we're going to move to Alan Burton, who will talk about some of the interesting research that relates to that, and then on to Jim Diana, who will bring some of that research down to ground with some of the great work that Michigan Sea Grant does, and then I'll follow up at that point. Kind of cool, isn't it? I'll follow up at that point talking about some of the initiatives on campus and some of the activities that we're going forward with. There are 2 numbers I'd like you to keep in mind as you're going through this. I think Jim's going to talk some more about it, and that is the Sea Grant program did an analysis of how many Great Lakes-related jobs there are in the state of Michigan. It's 800,000. And it provides 23% of the compensation for the citizens in this state. So it's an amazing resource that we have here that we're very well connected to. So I want to keep those in mind as we go through this entire set of activities. So let me turn it over to John, and I think there's your clicker.
Not exactly Anderson Cooper, but close. I have some gray hair now since way back when. Thank you, Don. And as Dan alluded to, it's a long time ago now, but when I was first injecting myself into the political world, I ran for the Secretary of State nomination on the Democratic side. And among other things, then I was young. And I thought, let's get all the young people in Michigan together to show that there's this youth movement for Austin. And so I invited 40 or so young leaders from around the state together. And Dan Kildee, who was also then young, the former Genesee County Treasurer, who just entered and withdrew from the governor's race. And so we met, and among the group that talked, Dan Scripps was clearly the most insightful, smartest, and thoughtful. And I thought, let's ask this guy to run my campaign. And so Dan did, and we didn't win that one, but fortunately the people of the 101st elected him as the leader, because Dan has been, after getting a great University of Michigan graduate education and law school degree, Dan has been and is going to be one of our great leaders in terms of shaping the state for the future, so it's terrific. I have been doing for the last 5 or 8 years, in addition to things with our state leadership, Cherry Commission, how do we get better educated, how do we move our economy forward, work with Brookings around the whole Midwest Great Lakes, this industrial heartland, as Don Scavia indicated. And the point of the work is we're so similar, this region that created and ruled and built tremendous wealth and jobs with the agro-industrial factory economy. Where is our economic future? How do we successfully transition, create new jobs, new economic activity in a different era? And so that work produced the kind of reports that Dan read off, including I brought some of the Vital Center, which is this look at our whole region's economy. In that report, we talked about water and our natural assets and being on the Great Lakes as an incredible economic good as we look ahead. And since then, we did further work around defining the economic benefits and the job creation benefits of cleaning up the Great Lakes and sort of celebrating and using these incredible outdoor natural resources, which Dan's district is an emblem of. And I took my kids up this fall, determined to go camping with them before they were too old to not allow me to make them go camping. And my 15-year-old and 13-year-old, and we went to a place that was recommended in Nordhaus Dunes in the State Forest Preserve. I don't know if that's in your district, Dan, but it is so famously spectacular. I'd never been there before. 6 or 7 miles of wilderness area on Lake Michigan, beautiful giant dunes, wind. It's phenomenal. I mean, one of the special places on Earth, as there are many special places on Earth in this region. And so we've been releasing, though, and pushing this understanding that there's real hard-headed job creation, economic development reasons why we should care about and be good stewards of our water and be a center of water problem solving. And Don and Alan and your colleagues at University of Michigan and other institutions are actually now producing another important paper that we're going to publish on smart water use, smart water cleanup, smart water technology.